What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another NFL video. So this is me finally coming back and actually creating some non-Magic the Gathering content. I have spent pretty much the entire month of August on vacation mode, and it's just been really busy past couple weeks. I really haven't had really any time to devote to creating content. Plus, on the Magic the Gathering side, we're just waiting for the new set to release next week. That's when you can expect some more content. I might be doing a quick reaction video to the new set, so I won't speak any more on that. What you're here for, of course, is the NFL. And this is bold predictions, as it says in the title. We're going through my bold, maybe not so bold predictions for each NFL team for this season. So basically what that means is some hot takes are incoming. And, some of them, most of them, probably won't come true. But I keep my bold predictions grounded in reality somewhat. And we'll see how it plays out. So I just went to week one. For those of you who don't know, I used to be like neck deep into the NFL in like the in the early 2000s up to like the 2012, 2013 was when I kind of stopped paying attention, stopped really caring. But now I kind of dip my toe in from time to time. And this last season, obviously, because it was such a crazy season with, the virus of unspecified origin came into the fold and really threw a wrench in. And it was the first time in NFL history where you had a game played on every single day of the week in the season. So I paid attention, and I watched a lot. I personally didn't really care one way or another. A lot of things ticked me off as far as how different the rules are these days compared to back when I first started watching. Anyway, bold prediction time. This is based off of my assessments. There were a number of rookies that I watched, and if you go back in my channel, you'll see some NFL videos like free agency and draft and all that stuff. So start from the top, the Dallas Cowboys. So with the return of Dak Prescott and hopefully a rejuvenated offensive line that has some starters ready to go, I guess my bold prediction here will be, I guess my bold prediction would be the Cowboys actually not finishing at the bottom of the NFC East and actually contending for the division title. I think their offense is talented enough to overcome some shortfalls on defense. Obviously, they have gotten a little bit better, but the addition of one or two players on a defense that needs pretty much an entire house cleaning isn't going to set you over the top. But I think a lot of people are discounting the Cowboys, and I think tonight, and don't let tonight be the pretty much end-all be-all of what the Dallas Cowboys are going to be. Of course, if they pull off an upset, then I'm still going to be like, well, slow your roll. Let's not just go selling, and let's just not go selling playoff tickets for Dallas just yet. But I think they're going to surprise a lot of people. I think they will be in the run for the division title. I mean, it's the NFC East. They're a garbage division as it is. So, but I think a lot of people, just based off of their defense and the unpredictability of how Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott are going to the unpredictability of Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott for this season. So I think that leaves them on the short list. So on the short end of the stick, I should say. Now, as for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, my bold prediction, I mean, let's just face it. This is a bold prediction for a lot of people. I would think. I hope a lot of people don't automatically think that the Buccaneers are going to win the Super Bowl again. I'm calling it a bold prediction because we all know how extremely difficult it is to go to the Super Bowl in back-to-back years. And we both know how lucky you have to be on the injury front to really go there. And that's always been my main thing. I hate these predictions. That's why I like doing bold predictions. And this is kind of one of my things where, like, bold prediction, hey, it's not like something that you're going to be chastised for getting wrong, But the Buccaneers were incredibly lucky to get to the Super Bowl last year. They had to play all 3 playoff games on the road, and then, of course, they got rewarded with playing at home for the Super Bowl. But still, they had to go to Washington, they had to go to New Orleans, and they had to go to Green Bay, and they won convincingly every single one of those games. I mean, I think the Saints game was probably the closest one. I mean, Green Bay was close for a little bit, but overall, they convincingly won those games. And they were also pretty lucky on the injury front. Them losing Vita Vea for a good portion of the season did hurt their defense, but overall, they stayed relatively healthy, and that's hard to do, especially when you have a quarterback that might as well be 60 years old. But it's Tom Brady. So, bold prediction is they return to the Super Bowl, and I would even pick them to win, even if they were going up against the Chiefs again or whoever. But anyway, moving on. The Seahawks. My bold prediction for them is that they miss out on the playoffs this year. I think they go, they added an extra game this year, so what's 7-10 maybe? I think they go 7-10. I think they miss out on the playoffs this year. I think they just have too many holes all over the team, and I'm just not really impressed with what they've done to help Russell Wilson. I mean, DK Metcalf, really a lot depends on him. If he's able to take that next step and solidify himself as one of the top number 1 go-to wide receivers in this league, which he definitely has all of the physical attributes to do, but that also comes down to play calling and play design and game planning. So, and of course, Russell Wilson not getting killed, because in my opinion, I haven't really seen much of an improvement on that offensive line outside of Dwayne Brown. So, bold prediction, they miss out on the playoffs, but they have somewhat of a respectable record at 7-10. 7-10 feels so weird. The Colts. The Colts' bold prediction here is that Carson Wentz actually has a resurgence and actually plays well and puts up really good numbers. A lot of that, in my opinion, would depend on T.Y. Hilton coming back healthy. He has a neck injury. It's kind of scary. Neck injuries are always scary in the NFL. I mean, we saw what happened to Peyton Manning. Everyone didn't even know if he was ever going to play again. But I think Carson Wentz will pretty much turn his career around and will look like the Carson Wentz of old. So, and I don't even really know if that's really a bold prediction. I think some people are already making that assumption, but I'm just going to stick with it. Jaguars, bold prediction. That's an interesting one. Bold prediction for the Jags. They finish at the bottom of their division. I don't know. They're definitely not a playoff team. And another bold prediction I would have for this, and I'm reserving for a different team. I guess finishing in the bottom of the division as far as their defense goes. I think their offense surprises a lot of people, but their defense will let them down, and they'll be like in the run for one of the top 5 draft picks for next year. The Texans. Texans end up being worse than the Jags. I think the Texans, my bold prediction for the Texans is that they end up being the worst team in the NFL. Philadelphia, they become the worst team in the NFC East, and yes, worse than the Giants. I have more faith in the Giants playing better than Philadelphia. So that's my bold prediction. Atlanta, my bold prediction is that this kind of centers around one player, so I kind of feel bad. But Kyle Pitts, not worth that top draft selection. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a great athlete, great pass catcher, all that stuff. Great playmaker. But I'm telling you, I got a gut feeling, and again, I could be wrong, but I'm just saying, I am not. I'm not putting my faith in that pick. There were so many other areas that they needed to improve on, and tight end was definitely something they could have waited on. So I think it was a mistake making that selection. They had so many different choices they could have gone with so many different holes. I mean, they're on rebuild. It's not like, a team drafts Kyle Pitts if they're ready to make like a serious run at a championship. The Falcons are nowhere near that. So I think Pitts ends up being a disappointment in his rookie year, and I think the Falcons offense ultimately suffers because of that. Going on to the Chargers, I think the Chargers go from, what was their record last year? I don't even remember. Justin Herbert obviously surprises a lot of people. I think he just builds on that year, I guess. I mean, that's not really much of a bold prediction because he surprised so many people last year. But I think the Chargers make a serious run for the playoffs. It's not big question here is that if they can ever stay healthy. I mean, that's a big one. So yeah, Chargers push for playoffs. The Washington team that shall not be named, I guess. My bold prediction is that Fitz magic runs out, and he's no longer. And by like week 8, he's like not the starter anymore, and they go with oh my gosh, I can't remember his name. The other guy, the heartthrob of the postseason. I can't remember his name. Y'all correct me in the comments section, but I think he takes over halfway through the season. Pittsburgh, I think they make the playoffs again. I'm dead serious. I think they make the playoffs again. I think a large portion of it is going to depend on Najee Harris, and I expect Najee Harris to be in the top runners for Rookie of the Year. I think Pittsburgh gets back to their Steeler ways of playing football, which is running the football, pounding the rock, and play action, and just getting, having Ben Roethlisberger throw the ball as little as possible. As for the Bills, I believe... This is a really bold prediction, but I expect them to maybe take a step back this year. They kind of they kind of went over their expectations, in my opinion, last year. And I'm not saying they won't make the postseason, but I feel like they won't be as good as they were last season. Chalk that up to injuries, bad execution, bad breaks in games. Who knows? 49ers, my bold prediction is that Jimmy G... and this is kind of like a twofer. My prediction is that Jimmy G holds on to that starting job, and / if Kyle Shanahan caves to pressure, even if Jimmy G is playing relatively well, and he forces Trey Lance into the starting lineup, I am predicting that it will come back and bite him in the ass, and he will look very stupid for doing that. And honestly, I feel like Kyle Shanahan's entire coaching career is going to be cursed by his inability to run the football when you have a lead. And that's going to define his coaching career. As for the Lions, TJ Hawkinson has like 1,000-yard season because he's like the only receiver that's dependable, and Jared Goff will definitely look to him, be like his first read on like every down. The Vikings, they go straight into the garbage. They go straight into the dumpster for the NFC North, as much as I hate to say it, despite Dalvin Cook playing at a Pro Bowl like level. The Bengals, it becomes glaringly obvious that Jamar Chase was a mistake at that pick, and they should have taken the Penei Sewell. Regardless of what you're hearing from the Lions camp, heck, it doesn't even have to be Penei Sewell, an offensive tackle. It becomes glaringly obvious as the season progresses that they should have taken the offensive lineman. The Jets, I feel like the Jets. Zach Wilson makes a serious push for Rookie of the Year and actually single-handedly gets them some big wins I'm not predicting them to win against the Panthers, but I think single-handedly he will pull them like 2 or 3 wins like on his own from his own hands. I'm still not 100% sold on Zach Wilson. That's why it's a bold prediction. He's got to prove it to me. But what I saw in the preseason, I actually was really surprised. As for the Panthers, Sam Darnold becomes a quality starting quarterback and resurrects his career in Carolina, and Robbie Anderson has probably one of his best years. The Cardinals, despite all of their talent harvesting, they do not make the playoffs. The Titans, Ryan Tannehill shows his true colors when they try and force him to throw the ball more because they have Julio Jones, and they risk not making the playoffs. The Browns do it. Bold prediction: the Browns do what they always do. They underachieve. It's not really a bold prediction, but they're underachieving this year. The Chiefs. It's hard to say this, but I almost want to go with them missing out on the playoffs. But I don't think that's possible. Even though their offensive line isn't 100% solidified. I mean, they have Joe Thuney, and I don't even remember who they signed at offensive tackle. But that's my main issue, is that pass protection. And that's why they lost. That's why they lost in the Super Bowl, was pass protection. So, but I think the Chiefs, while I believe they'll make the playoffs, but they will take a step back as far as their record goes, and their offensive numbers come down. The Dolphins, Will Fuller, if he can stay freaking healthy, they finally is able to live up to his potential, and they make a push. I'm starting to run out of ideas. Patriots, this is the one I was saving. Mac Jones wins Rookie of the Year. Denver, I believe you will see both Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater starting multiple games this year. That's my prediction. The Giants. The Giants don't end up at the bottom of the NFC East. I guess that's paired with Philadelphia. The Giants don't end up at the bottom of the NFC East. The Packers end up facing the Buccaneers in the NFC Championship game. Saints miss. Saints miss out on the playoffs. I think the Panthers take their place. I guess that's another one for the Panthers. They make the postseason. The Saints don't. The Bears, again, same deal as the Niners, except that I don't think Andy Dalton will play as well as Jimmy G, as much as I would like him to, because I've always liked Andy Dalton, but it's obvious his best years are behind him. But I also don't think I'm not a Fields truther. I said this before in one of my other videos. I don't think Justin Fields is the answer, and I think it's going to be pretty obvious. Now, it could change with a coaching change, but with Matt Nagy in this offense, I don't see it happening. He'll flash like any mobile quarterback will do. He'll flash, and there will be some big plays, and people will be like, "Oh, he's the greatest! Look at that! That's unbelievable!" But in the end, ultimately, it's going to chalk up to like maybe 4 wins, 5 wins for this team. The Rams, I believe Matthew Stafford has a fantastic year. I believe they make the playoffs, and I'll leave it at that. The Ravens, if the Ravens make the postseason, this is my bold prediction, it will be under the slimmest of margins. They will probably be like the very last team to squeak in. That's my bold prediction. And as for the Raiders, Derek Carr has a solid year, but their defense just leaves a lot to be desired. Okay, that's enough. Those are my bold predictions. You can roast me in the comments section all you want. Let me know what you think. What are some of your bold predictions for this NFL year? And, of course, don't forget to hit like and subscribe on the way out. I'll see you all later.